the good ghost and began to try to quell its light. Stop showing me this. Why break my heart again? Oh, Belle. Oh, my Belle. What o'clock? Have I slept through the morning and into the afternoon? Ebenezer Scrooge! Ebenezer Scrooge! Come forth and see me! Scrooge threw open the night curtain, and there he looked upon another astounding scene. Why, his entire premises were now adorned with holly, ivy, mistletoe, and there were great tables with thrones of poultry, brawn, beef. Why, there were baskets spilling over with red-hot chestnuts, juicy apples, oysters, plum puddings, and Twelfth Night cakes, and presiding easily over this entire scene, a grand, jovial spirit. Greetings, I am the ghost of Christmas present. Come forth and see me. Scrooge looked upon this magnificent form. It wore a crown of holly, it had flowing brown locks, and thrown over its shoulders a green mantle, its chest capaciously bare. In one hand it held an uncommon torch, and in the other a sprig of holly. Ha! You have never seen the likes of me before. No, can't say that I have. Never met any of my brothers before me. Well, how many of them do you have? Over 1,840. Well, that's a rather large family to feed. Spirit! Spirit! Last night, I learned something. Pray, what have you to teach me? Touch my robe. When Scrooge touched the robe of the good ghost of Christmas present, he found himself flying high over the city of London. Why, he went amidst the spires and the towers and the turrets, and down below in all of the streets he saw all preparing for Christmas. The shopkeepers, the marketeers, the poulterers, people hustling and bustling here and there. Why, they all had baskets, as burdening like a gentleman's jacket. But the spirit paid more heed to those with more modest means. And when it happened upon those who had a particularly meager meal, it gave a sprinkling from its torch, and smiles creased the faces. Now, when a butcher carrying an immense slab of beef, jostled with a baker carrying a 12th night cake, what do you mean, hey? You get out of my way. Oh, get out of your way. I'll give you one of these to get you out of my way, and I'll give you two of these to get you out of my way. But the spirit gave them 3 of those. Merry Christmas to you. Hey, what are we fighting about? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and off they went. Spirit, what is in that torch of thine? An uncommon mix of my own. Is it good for all? Good for all given kindly, but especially for the poor. Why the poor? Well, they once for it most. Come, I'll show you. And the good ghost brought Ebenezer Scrooge to Camden Town, to the 4-room humble apartment of Mr. Bob Cratchit, who earned but 15 of his Christian name a week. Now, Bob was off with Tiny Tim, but Mrs. Cratchit presided over preparations for the Christmas Eve feast. There she was, in a dress twice turned, made brave with ribbon, her daughters in the same. Now, Peter, don't leave a lump in those potatoes. Oh, don't worry, Mother. I wouldn't dare let a lump get into these potatoes. They'll be mashed. Children, attend to the sage and onions, and watch too for your father. He'll be coming back from church with Tiny Tim. Oh, Martha. Oh, Mother, I'm sorry I'm late. Why, that Milner, I thought she was going to keep me there all night. Tomorrow, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be like a lady in waiting and sleep until noon. Is Father in? No, not yet. Oh, why don't you hide? Yeah, we'll play a trick on Father. We'll say I'm not coming. And so Martha tucked herself away in a corner, right next to the good ghost of Christmas present and Ebenezer Scrooge, undetected. He's coming! He's coming! There stood Bob Cratchit, perched upon his shoulder, the youngest of the Cratchit children. A frail waif, with an iron brace, a crutch, but an ever-present smile. There, my tiny Tim, let me set you down. Oh, Mrs. Cratchit, are we all met for Christmas Eve? Oh, yay. Oh, except for Martha. Martha? Oh, she ain't coming. Oh, she must come. She must come. I'm going to go fetch her. I'm going to take her out of that Mildred. I don't care if she loses her situation. Martha couldn't bear it. She runs up and grabs her father and puts her arms around and says, oh, Father, I'm right here. Of course I'm here. Oh, Martha, I was worried. Oh, my dear, we all must be here for Christmas. What is it, Tim? The pudding. It's in the bake shop. It'll be baked soon. Oh, but Father, you have to hear it sing. If it doesn't sing, it's not ready. If it sings too long, it burns. Oh, Tim, you know about pudding. More than your brother Peter. I just know potatoes. Why don't you take your sister Martha and you can listen together and tell her when the pudding sings right. All right, Father. And off went Tiny Tim, holding his big sister's hand. Oh, the crutch went along so quick, and the smile never faded. It would have done your spirits good just to see them. Bob, how was Tim in church today? Good as gold, Mrs. Cratchit. I noted folk kind of gawking at him, so I says, Tim, do you mind people looking at you in church? He says, oh, no, Father, 'cause I know when they look at me, they're putting the mind to remember the one who made the blind see and the lame walk. Don't you see, Mrs. Cratchit, pearls of wisdom from the mouth of our babe, our Tiny Tim? He'll get better. He will be hale and hearty, Mrs. Cratchit. He will. He will. Now, Bob, calm thyself. Why don't you call all in for the dinner? All right. Gather round. And all the Cratchits come in. The young ones with spoons in their mouths. Lest they shriek with joy for that goose. But oh, they did all the same. Tiny Tim leading the cheer. We want the goose! We want the goose! And off goes Mrs. Cratchit. She comes in with the goose. And when she enters, Scrooge mutters, Spirit, isn't that a meager goose to feed such a large family? But the Cratchits, what a wonderful goose. What a delicious goose. What a fine goose. The best of all gooses. Have you had enough? I'm stuffed. Would you like some of mine? Oh, look. And they point to an atom of a bone left on the plate. And they cry, look at us. Aren't we rich? Leaving leftovers. And then, we want the pudding. We want the pudding. And off goes Martha. She returns carrying the pudding. Though it looks rather like a speckled cannonball. I would say about a 12-pound shot. But it is bedight with a sprig of holly. And when the Cratchits see it, not one of them says, what a meager pudding to feed such a large family. They wouldn't have thought of it. It would have been heresy. They say, what a delectable, what a delicious pudding. Did you have enough? Oh, more than enough. I'm stuffed. And then, when they're done, all rise, my family. And the Cratchits stand. We'll have a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. They all sit, save for Tiny Tim. And may God bless us, everyone. Spirit, say the child will live. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, I see in the chimney corner a stool with a carefully preserved crutch. If these things are unchanged, the child will die. No, no, Spirit, say the child will live. If the child should die, then let him get to it and decrease the surplus population. Man, discover where the surplus lies. It may be in the eyes of the great Creator that your life is worth less than the life of millions like this poor man's child. And then the good ghost fluctuated its arms and lifted Ebenezer Scrooge far from Camden Town in London. It brought him way out into the countryside, and the spirit happened upon rude shacks and the homesteads of poor miners, offering no more than potatoes as a Christmas Eve dinner. But it sprinkled them with that torch liberally. Why, it even brought Scrooge to the end of the country there, and he shook that torch over the lighthouse keeper and his wife, who smiled. It even brought Scrooge out to a ship at sea, buffeted and beaten about by waves on Christmas Eve. But what was it? Softening the harshness and dread. 2 words: Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, a humbug. Suddenly, Scrooge found himself in the home of his nephew Fred. That is exactly what he said, my friends, when I endeavored to invite him to join us for Christmas dinner. Oh, of course that's what he said, husband. You know what your uncle is like. Why, he is a braying, stubborn, skinflint miser. Now, my good wife, no more of it, no more of it. Why don't we have a game? Mr. Topper, would you care to join us instead of being underneath the mistletoe with my wife's youngest sister? Well, you can't blame me. What game are we going to play? How about yes and no? Well, the good ghost began to shrink. Scrooge begged, "May we stay, Spirit? They're going to play yes and no. I once was quite good at this." The spirit relented. Fred stood. "I'm thinking of something, and see if you can determine what's on my mind when I answer with only a yes or a no. I'm thinking of a savage creature." "Oh, I know what it is, Fred. A bear." "No. I'm thinking of a braying, stubborn animal." "Oh, I know, a jackass." "No. I'm thinking of a grunting, groveling creature." "Oh, a hog?" "No. Oh, I know what it is, husband. It's your Uncle Scrooge. It's your Uncle Scrooge." "Oh, did you hear that, Spirit? A braying, stubborn ass, Ebenezer Scrooge." "Spirit, what's beneath thine robes?" Well, the good ghost opened up the lower portions of its robe,